Identity protocols. Mindi Moore had spent her whole life fighting against becoming a copy. Growing up as the younger twin, she'd endured years of matching outfits, identical haircuts, and the constant chorus of, "The Moore girls are so alike." Every morning, she'd stare into her childhood mirror, searching for something, anything, that was uniquely hers. A freckle her sister Sarah didn't have, a different smile, a distinctive way of tilting her head. "But we're supposed to match," Sarah would say, hurt clouding her face whenever Mindi begged their mother to let her wear something different. "We're twins." That's why Mindi had worked so hard to develop her own identity, the precise morning routine, the carefully chosen lipstick shade, the meticulously crafted professional persona, all of it designed to finally be singular, unique, herself, which made it so much worse when she noticed the lipstick wasn't quite right. Staring into the office bathroom mirror, she pressed her fingertip against her reflection, fighting back the muscle memory of doing the same thing at age 7, desperately trying to find differences between herself and Sarah. But this time, she wasn't searching for differences. She was watching them disappear. The Revlon's Power Move Red, her signature shade for 6 years, looked different today. Warmer, more orange-based, like Claire's. She pulled the tube from her purse, checking the bottom. Yes, same shade, same number. But watching her reflection, she could swear her lips were morphing, the color shifting to match the smiles she'd seen Claire wearing in the morning meeting. That perfect, practiced curve that used to be uniquely Mindi's. The bathroom door creaked. "Oh, Mindi, I didn't expect." Claire's voice carried that same musical lilt it had adopted last week, the one that used to be Mindi's trademark phone voice. Mindi gripped the sink's edge, watching Claire in the mirror. When had Claire started wearing her hair in that sleek low bun? Mindi had worn it that way since business school, a style she'd cultivated to project authority without threatening the old guard. Now, seeing it on Claire, she wondered if it had ever been hers at all. "That lipstick looks amazing on you," Claire said, stepping closer. "Is it new?" Mindi's fingers trembled as she capped the tube. "I've worn it for 6 years." "Really? I could have sworn I discovered it first. Funny how our tastes align." "Our tastes don't align," Mindi wanted to scream. "You're aligning them, taking me." It was like being 7 again, watching Sarah copy her new way of holding a pencil, except Sarah had been her twin. Claire was something else entirely. But that would sound crazy. That's what made it so perfect. Every theft was invisible, intangible. How do you explain that your identity is being slowly excavated and replaced? "Great minds," Mindi managed, forcing a smile that felt foreign on her face. As she left the bathroom, she heard Claire humming. It was the song Mindi's grandmother used to sing, the one she'd hummed to herself during difficult meetings, the one she'd never shared with anyone at work. The changes had started 3 months ago. At first, they were so subtle that Mindi thought she was being paranoid, the same kind of paranoia she'd felt as a child, convinced that Sarah was stealing her mannerisms. But this was different, more calculated. A coffee order that matched Mindi's complex specification. A presentation style that mimicked her trademark opening jokes. Even the way Claire held her pen clicked 3 times before writing, just like Mindi did. "You're being paranoid," Sarah had said over their weekly video call. The irony of her twin telling her this not lost on Mindi. Everyone does these things. But everyone didn't know about the small brass compass Mindi kept in her desk drawer, a reminder of her father's last words about always finding her way home. Everyone didn't know about that compass appearing on Claire's desk last week, positioned at the same angle, gleaming with the same dull patina. "It was my father's, too," Claire had said when Mindi asked, her eyes holding that perfect mix of grief and resilience that Mindi had perfected in the mirror years ago. He was a navigator in the Navy. Just like Mindi's father. The coincidences piled up like layers of sediment, each one insignificant on its own, but forming something suffocating in their totality. Claire's coffee shop became Mindi's coffee shop. Her yoga studio became Mindi's yoga studio. Her favorite lunch spot, her dry cleaner, her morning running route, all slowly claimed, all slowly erased and rewritten. At least with Sarah, there had been a biological explanation for their similarity. This was something else entirely. Excellent presentation, Claire, Davidson said in the quarterly review. That analysis of market penetration was inspired. It should have been. It was Mindy's analysis, developed over 6 months of late nights and data mining. She'd stored it on her personal drive, password protected, waiting for the right moment to present it. But Claire had gotten there first, with Mindy's charts, Mindy's insights, Mindy's conclusions, even Mindy's verbal tics. The key finding, Claire said, using Mindy's signature pause for emphasis, is that we've been looking at this all wrong. Mindy watched her colleagues' faces, searching for recognition. Didn't they see it? The way Claire stood, weight shifted to her right leg, just like Mindy always did. The way she used her hands to emphasize points, fingers spread in that precise configuration Mindy had practiced until it looked natural. But they didn't see. They smiled and nodded, enchanted by this new Claire who was becoming more Mindy than Mindy herself. Just like all those years ago, when people would praise how alike the Moore twins were, never noticing how each comparison chipped away at Mindy's sense of self. After the meeting, Mindy rushed back to her desk and pulled up her personal drive. The analysis was there, untouched. Her password hadn't been breached, the file hadn't been accessed. That night, Mindy stayed late, waiting until the office emptied. She needed answers. Claire's desk might hold them. The surface was immaculate, organized with the same system Mindy used. Files to the left, family photos to the right. A small plant in the corner, Chinese evergreen, like Mindy's. The top drawer held nothing unusual. Terrified, the second drawer made her hands shake. Photographs, dozens of them. Claire at a beach house that looked exactly like the one Mindy's family had visited every summer. Claire in a graduation gown at Mindy's university. Claire with a woman who looked remarkably like Mindy's deceased mother. But the timestamps were wrong. The photos were dated years before Mindy's versions, before some of Mindy's memories. The bottom drawer held a journal. Mindy opened it, her heart pounding. The first entry was in her handwriting. Integration successful, original identity fading, new template ready for distribution. The handwriting shifted halfway through, becoming Claire's. Previous version prepared for deletion, memories redistributed, identity transfer nearly complete. Mindy dropped the journal. The words swam before her eyes, reminding her of all those childhood moments when people couldn't tell her apart from Sarah. But this was worse. This wasn't about looking alike. It was about being erased. She reached for her phone to take photos, evidence, proof, but her reflection in the dark screen stopped her. Her face looked different, softer, more like Claire's. Had her nose always been that shape? The next morning, Mindy arrived early, determined to confront Claire. But her key card didn't work. Security had to escort her up. "Sorry about the confusion, Miss Stevens," the guard said. "Moore," she corrected. "Mindi Moore." He checked his tablet. "I'm showing Claire Stevens for this office. There's no Mindi Moore in the system." The elevator doors opened to a familiar floor that suddenly felt wrong. Her colleagues walked past without acknowledging her. Her desk was gone. Claire sat in Mindy's office, wearing Mindy's clothes, using Mindy's laptop. "Can I help you?" Claire asked, wearing Mindy's concerned expression perfectly. "What are you doing? This is my office, my life." Claire's smile was gentle, professional. "I think you're confused. I'm Claire Stevens. I've worked here for 6 years. No, I'm Mindi Moore. I've worked here for 6 years. I have proof, my files, my photos." Claire opened a drawer and pulled out a photo album. The images were all there, Mindy's memories, Mindy's life, but in each one, Claire's face smiled back. "I think you should talk to someone," Claire said, reaching for the phone. "I can recommend an excellent therapist." Mindy fled to the bathroom, her last sanctuary, but in the mirror her face wasn't her own anymore. Her features were softer, rounder, more like Claire's. Had they always been that way? She grabbed her phone, scrolling frantically through old photos, but they were changing as she watched, her face blurring, shifting, becoming Claire's. Or had it always been Claire's? The bathroom door opened. "It's okay," Claire said softly. "The integration is almost complete. Soon you won't remember being anyone else." "What are you?" Claire's smile widened. "I'm the future, the perfect employee, the perfect template, and soon there will be more of me. So many more. Mindy looked past Claire to the office beyond. She could see her colleagues at their desks, their features subtly changing, becoming softer, rounder, more like Claire's, like hers. In the mirror, Mindy watched her own face complete its transformation. She couldn't remember now. Had she always been Claire, or had she been someone else? Did it matter? She smiled her perfect, practiced smile and straightened her perfect, practiced posture. There was work to be done. After all, she had always been the perfect employee. As she left the bathroom, her phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. "Hey sis, still up for lunch?" Mindy stared at the message, trying to remember who Sarah was. Something about being twins. But that couldn't be right. After all, there was only one version of her, the correct version.